So I literally just got off the phone with one of our prospects and decided to take a couple. I always take a couple of notes on these post-its, some of the key points that we discuss. And so I literally decided, let me shoot a video very, very quickly because I feel like the marketplace is going through this transitional period right now. And if you're the type of person who is running a webinar to strategy session to cold traffic right now, and you're either not in love with that or it is kicking your ass in the sense of that you're working with people or you're speaking to people that just aren't a good fit, they're not qualified, they're overly skeptical, and you're battling to close using high pressure techniques like, price drops, scholarship fees, do it today and we'll give you a deal on the day, that type of thing. And you're not in love with that and you want to do it in a different way, I want you to know that there is absolutely another way. So this particular coach that we were speaking to, very, very skilled, very good at what he does. I could tell that immediately by just chatting to him. And he spent the primary amount of his time doing one-on-one coaching, very intimate, high level, high value, high fee one-on-one coaching. And so he said to me, listen, I had to quit about 6 months ago doing the one-on-one because I was so in demand, I was overwhelmed, overloaded, and I was working around the clock with these clients. And I decided to quit and go to a one-to-one leveraged model. All right. And a one-to-one leveraged model. And he said, I feel I'm a content creator. I feel like my best when I'm creating and serving. And then he progressed to talk about how he was about to sign up with a coach previous. And this is nothing to do with the coach, but he didn't pull the trigger. He didn't go forward because he felt like he was signing a deal with the devil. He was going to hire the coach to help him set up, a strategy session funnel to get calls. But there was just this little thing inside of his gut that just didn't feel right. And so I said to him very, very clearly, like, listen, there was a reason that you stopped one-on-one coaching. What was it? And he was like, I couldn't deal with being on the phone every day. I'm like, well, dude, listen, if you're running that traditional strategy session model, you best get used to being on the phone. There's only two problems in your coaching business right now. One is that you have too many prospects to speak to that aren't qualified, i.e., the majority are taking up the time in your schedule to close the minority, or you just don't have enough demand. You're not creating enough demand inside of your business. That's the only two things that could be going wrong. You've got too much of it and they're not qualified enough, or you don't have enough of it and you need more. And so the second thing that he was saying was like, listen, like, I really appreciate what you're sharing inside of our easy scaling method, A3 easy scaling method, a3book.com. And in the bonus training that we have inside of that, I go through a proprietary model that I think is the thing that the majority of coaches should be doing. I just think it's a bad idea for the majority of people in the marketplace to be utilizing, cold webinar to strategy session. There are so many more effective strategies that will help reduce the friction of the sale, minimize your time output, and speak to people who are 8s, 9s, and 10s on the scale of signing up. And it's very different, the frame in which you bring somebody onto the phone. Now, listen, if you're speaking to people right now and you just know that the majority of what you have to do is convince them to sign up, or you have to, prove your worth or demonstrate your value, or feel like you have to overpromise to close the sale, like add in a bunch of value that you wouldn't normally do just to tip people over the edge, then I want you to know there's actually a better way. There's a way that has lesser friction, should we say, a frictionless. And look, this guy hated the idea of doing the model, but he said, all I see in the marketplace now with people saying, you don't need a blog, you don't need to create content, nobody needs to know who you are. All you need is a webinar and a laptop and a phone. And the reality is, does that work? Absolutely. The truth of it is it a strategy that's sustainable long-term, that's going to allow you to scale? For the majority, absolutely not. And so, simply putting a webinar together, the tech side of it alone can be demanding, but also getting the thing to go live can be demanding. Then battling with getting registrations at a reasonable CPA or a CPL these days can be demanding also. And so the truth is, there is an easier way, absolutely. And we have a method called the A3 Easy Scaling Method. It is based around 3 core principles. Number 1, generating attention of your marketplace so you can give value and build an audience of people that are interested, that warm to us. I mean, this isn't the same thing as just, putting random content. This is thinking strategically about who is it that I want to attract? How specifically can I help them? What is the pathway to helping them? And then how do I reverse engineer that whole thing? The second piece is what we call activation. How do we get our perfect prospects to raise their hand and reach out to us and ask for our help so that we are positioned as the premium, the person who is unique, unobtainable, rare, so that when we actually speak to a prospect, they're at the 8, 9, or 10 of ready to sign up and ready to buy. There is no convincing needed. There's no pressure needed. In fact, you can be very relaxed and you can get down to the root of the core problem of your prospect and utilize your ability to understand their problem better than they can themselves. The third piece is what we call ascension, where we invite people to be part of our biggest impact sphere, the place where we can create the most change in someone's life, their business, their health, their energy, their vitality. And I know as well as you know that the biggest change and transformation inside of your business for your prospects is when they get to work with you more closely. And you'd be a fool to think that an informational product is going to create the transformation alone that you require. However, going from cold to strategy session can also provide a hell of a lot of headaches and bottlenecks. So there is an absolutely a better process, a better method. And what we've done over we've been marketing online as a company since 2006, helped tons of people, and more recently worked with private partners, anyone in the region of $100,000 per month, and helping many of our clients scale to, $500,000 a month. And one of our clients even hitting $1 million a month. And the thing is that I want you to understand is that the primary driver that allows this to happen is their ability to reduce the friction of the sale and make sales easy. Selling shouldn't be this push-pull, right? It shouldn't be. There's a difference between persuasion and influence. Persuasion is the pushing it down the throat, convincing people that it's a good idea. Influence is where your beliefs and their beliefs align together, where you break their beliefs, you reframe them, and then you instill better beliefs or incept better beliefs into their mindset that are conducive to their growth, that are helpful, that are beneficial to them. And so when you do this, you have this influence where you're influencing somebody to make a decision that's right for them and their business versus this persuasion where you're pushing and using false scarcity and urgency and price drops and scholarship closes and all of the tactics that we're taught in the high ticket closing world to push people over the line. And from my experience, that creates animosity in the marketplace. It creates, it works. Let's not beat around the bush. It works. It gets clients, but I don't feel like it gets the best of your clients. And I feel like if we're more authentic in the fact that we can influence people through our marketing, we use our marketing to do the leverage so the selling becomes easy, then I truly believe that we have the ability to create change at scale globally without worrying about, speaking to this prospect, are they going to be a good fit? Yes or no. We put systems in place to filter out the best people so that we get to speak to people who actually require our help at this point in time and that can get our help. And we put systems in place that contribute value to people who aren't ready yet. And we understand that not everybody in the marketplace is ready to buy right now, and that there are a portion and a segment of the marketplace that are, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 180 days, 365 days from needing help. And so when you have all of this in place, it allows you to understand, okay, listen, my business creates the biggest impact when I speak to people on the phone. I influence them in a positive way to make a decision that's going to change their business, their life, their health, their energy, their vitality, their mindset, their performance, whatever it is. But we do that in a way where we only speak to people who are at the 8s, 9s, and 10s on that scale of moving forward. And unfortunately, more now than ever, the cold webinar to strategy session model just does not do that for me enough. Yes, you will make sales. Yes, your business can grow. But remember, we come back to the two problems. You're either speaking to too many people that aren't qualified enough, therefore your time is limited, or you need more and more sales reps to scale, or you have an inefficient amount of demand. You don't have enough. You're not creating enough demand in the marketplace. If either of those are your problem right now, then I want to introduce you to the A3 easy scaling method. Go to a3book.com. That's a3book.com. Go there, check out what we have to say. I truly believe it is impactful. And, as this client said, he said, listen, I'm super appreciative. Like, he was so excited speaking to me. He didn't expect to speak to me, but he was excited speaking to me because he was like, dude, I just appreciate you putting this knowledge out there in a world where we're told we don't need a blog, we don't need this, we don't need that, we don't need the other. All we need is a webinar, a laptop, and a phone. He's like, it's refreshing to hear that there is another way. And I believe now more than ever, that's more relevant. So moving into 2019, 2020, 2021, people who don't deploy the methods that we share are going to lose their shirt, and people are hurting already. They are hurting right now. They're just not saying that in the domain. And all you've got to do is observe and see what's happening. People aren't, the show rates are declining year upon year upon year to automated webinars. The show rates to live webinars have been declining for many years because people have become accustomed to it in the marketplace, and it's very red ocean in the sense of it's very much the same. So listen, if you're looking for a different way, if you've got one of the two problems we described, you're either you're in a position where what you're doing isn't working at all, or what you're doing is working, but you're just not in love with it. And or either you have too much demand of unqualified people, so you're spending the lion's share of your time filtering out the majority that aren't going to sign up in order to get to the minority, or you just don't have that demand. And what you'd love instead is a system that helps filter out the minority, the people who are going to sign up right now, so that you only speak to those people and you filter the rest out and add value in a different way to those people, understanding they're not ready right now. One of the things I want to say and wrap this up on is I stopped booking people into my diary a good while ago from the traditional way of filling my calendar. And I speak to a third of the amount of people that we used to speak to, yet we make more sales than we did before. So we're generating, double the amount of sales from a third of the prospects just by diverting people into different pathways and giving value to them based on where they're at in their journey. Because I don't feel it's valuable to somebody to be on the phone with you that are in a position that they can't, they can't make the commitment. We get them excited, we help them, we get them to the point where they're ready to move forward, and they just can't. I don't feel that's valuable. I don't feel that's fair. I think it's better to push people into directions that's going to be conducive to their growth now. All right, so listen, if anything I've said has resonated today, please do go to a3book.com, pick yourself up a copy. We paid for the print, you get the shipping and handling, we'll ship it out to you. Plus, we're going to give you 3 hours worth of bonus training where we go a lot deeper into this. And the guy that I spoke to on the phone said he watched it 3 times back to back. There's so many aha moments for him and so many light bulbs. So go ahead, check it out right now. Be my pleasure to send you a copy for free. Peace.